All right, guys, so tonight we're going to talk about how to determine your true profit margins when selling on Amazon. So this webinar will show you how to identify, track, and fix the precise margin eaters that are chipping away at your Amazon profits so that you can stop them and save thousands. All right, guys, so yes, we've identified the margin eaters that basically Amazon has a ton of fees. We're going to go into all of those different fees one by one and identify them and show you what you can do to sort of turn those fees around so that you can start to make some serious cash in your business. Now, if you guys haven't heard about us yet, this is some of the podcasts and some of the webinars that we've been on. We've been featured on the big ones like The Tribe, Ben Cummings, FBA All-Star, Quick, Fast, Hurry, Startup Bros. So if you haven't heard about PPC Entourage, I'm sure you'll be hearing more about us very soon. This is Cyndi Thomason. Cyndi is an Amazon profitability expert. And if you guys haven't read her book, actually listened to her book called Profit First, go out and get this book. It's available on Amazon. It is such a game-changing book. It's called Profit First for e-commerce sellers. My partner and I, we both listened to it in January of this year, and it had such a substantial impact on the decisions that we made for our business. So, but we both read this book, and then we approached Cyndi, said, listen, Cyndi, we have something that's really cool here that we think can help a lot of Amazon sellers really know the numbers and analytics of their business. And we showed her what we're about to show you, and she was absolutely blown away by the potential to save a lot of money. So I cannot wait. If she's excited about this, guys, then I know you're going to be excited about this, and we're going to make it as simple and straightforward to follow. All right, so here is a testimonial from one of our beta testers, Scott Anderson. So Scott's been selling on Amazon since 2015, and he said this is the first time he's ever been able to see his true margins. He's never been a numbers guy, as his strength is more in the creative department. The Margin software suite has allowed me to input all of my off-Amazon expenses, while the software populates all of my on-Amazon expenses, advertising costs, and profits, allowing me to see my true margins. Empowered with this information, I've been able to make better decisions in all aspects of my business based on real numbers. And guys, that's what it's all about. Combining the knowledge from the Profits First book and what I'm about to show you right now, you're going to be empowered to be able to make much, much better decisions in your business. Because I can guarantee you guys, I know from experience, we were making poor decisions in our business about a year ago, and this has helped us out quite a bit. So I want you guys to commit to stay to the end of this webinar. So the reason being is that we're going to be going over all of the different margin eaters. At the very end, I'm going to show you guys how we tie it all together so that you can know your exact net profit, which, by the way, most Amazon sellers don't know. And there's a reason for that. There's so many variables when it comes to knowing your margins. You know, just in Amazon fees alone, there's dozens of them, it appears. And we're going to go over how to simplify that process and how to know at the end of the day exactly how much money you're making. So just commit now. Head on over to the chat box and type in, yes, I'm staying to the end. I'm going to try to keep it at around 90 minutes, guys, but we have a lot to get through. So head on over to the chat box and say, yes, I am staying to the end, and let's get moving. And it's cool. We got a lot of people on the call here tonight. All right, guys, let me see some yeses in the chat box. Cool. Yes. Awesome, guys. So my promise to you is that we know understanding your true Amazon business margins is incredibly complex. And of course, complexity is the enemy of execution. If things are too hard, people are just simply not going to do it. So on this webinar, we're going to go over how to understand your true net profit margin. So we're going to go, that's going to be at the very end. I'm going to show you guys exactly how we do it in our business. We're also going to learn about the margin eaters and how they can be chomping away at your bottom line. Let me tell you guys, you're going to be pretty shocked at some of the margin eaters that you may or may not be aware of, but it has a big impact on your bottom line. Finally, I'm going to show you guys how to take the necessary steps to increase your margins and put the money back in your pocket where it belongs, not in Amazon's pocket, in your pocket, saving you money and building your business so you can reinvest in your business. On this webinar, I'm also going to show you guys how we dramatically increased our profit margins from just 10% with easy actionable steps to over 23%. As you can see over here, we were at 10% and then we were trending upwards, and now we're at 22% plus. We're near 24% at this point, all because of some of the information that I'm about to share with you and some of the tips that I'm about to share. This information is going to help a lot of people, and we want to make sure that it gets out to as many people as possible. We're going to be sharing some new stuff on this webinar, some valuable stuff. Please, if you can, share this link with as many people as you possibly can. Even if you're listening to this on replay, make sure you share it the next day and share it with your close colleagues and friends. All right, guys, this is me, Mike Zagare. So welcome. Nice to meet you all. Excited to be on this call. This was just taken last week in Miami Beach. And I am a recovering physical therapist. So I have not been a physical therapist for many years. In fact, my license is about to expire, but that's okay. I did love helping out to these seniors, but I'm 100% an entrepreneur and fully love what I do every single day. And I've had my fair share of business flops. Take a look at this one, guys. This is when I ordered like 500 boxes during the holiday season to my small apartment in Roslyn, and I closed down the post office. This was not a good weekend, caused a lot of stress and a lot of wonderment whether or not I was in the right field at the time. This was back in 2016. But then we started an Amazon business, an FBA business in 2015, and we grew our revenues to more than 4 million by the end of 2017. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is my business partner. He was viral last week because he went to the draft, and he's a huge Giants fan and got selected to go to the draft. And this was his face, this hopeful face. Him and I are business partners. We're good friends ever since first grade. So I imagine this is the face when we're making $4 million in our business and everything is going and looking really freaking great. And then, unfortunately, we had some business flops. And oh, shit, this is what he looked like after the Giants picked Daniel Jones, which is like a 20th round draft pick or something like that. I was even shocked, and I'm not a big football fan. And then I look over and I see my best friend and business partner in disbelief. So I'm sure he had the same post when we had a major margin impact back in May 1st of 2018. As you can see here, this is our FBA fee margin impact looking inside of Entourage Margins. We were impacted by 49% in our FBA fees, which was absolutely terrible. That means that basically 50% of every dollar we made on Amazon was going back to Amazon. Now, why is this? I'm going to reveal that on the webinar today. I'm going to share with you guys exactly what we did at Remedy. But check it out. We got all the way down to 43% margin impact from our FBA fees. It took some work, it took some effort, but it was real simple to do with the strategies that I'm about to share with you. But what about all the other Amazon FBA fees? We got PPC Ad Spend, we got promo fees, we got return fees, we got storage fees, and even more Amazon fees. We have lightning deal fees, inventory placement fees, long-term storage fees, disposal fees. And what about all the non-Amazon expenses? You got cost of goods, monthly operating expenses, payroll, saving for sales tax. My gosh, where did all of our cash go? So in January of 2018, my partner and I started fighting back. And this is Marvin, introducing Marvin, everybody. He is our cool new superhero for the margins tool. And we started focusing on margin impact. Now, what is margin impact? Margin impact is, say you have 100% of the pie, right? Now you have your FBA fees, you have your PPC fees, you have your promo fees. Each one of these fees is going to impact your margin in a certain way. That's called your margin impact. So in the first slide that I shared with you guys, we had a 50% margin impact with FBA fees alone. 50%. That doesn't leave a lot of room for net margins at the end of the day. So my question is, what is margin impact? And how are these margin eaters impacting my business? Because we have many fees, many margin eaters, and how are they impacting our bottom line? What is the appropriate amount of margin impact for each one of the margin eaters? All right, so a good example of this is PPC. How much should PPC be impacting my bottom line so at the end of the day I can make some money? You know, FBA fees, what should that be? Promo fees, storage fees, all of these things. And how are each one of our SKUs impacted by these margin eaters? Obviously, certain SKUs are going to be doing better than other SKUs in certain areas. We may have a particular SKU that has a 50% margin impact from FBA fee, but another one that only has 25%. So we have to know this information on a SKU by SKU basis. And finally, and the absolute most important thing, what was our net margin after all Amazon fees and other business expenses? This is what we needed to know. So we started focusing on margin impact, and we got some killer, amazing, great results. Check this out, guys. We went from 10% margin impact, focused in on all the different things that we had to focus on, and then we got a nice upwards trend, and here we are sitting and stabilizing at 22% plus. And last we checked, we were at 24% and climbing, all because we're able to make better decisions, all because we're able to turn off some of the things that just simply were not working for us. So what is stopping your business from doing the same? Well, a lot of people have several things holding them back. People say it's too expensive. I have to hire an expert to do this, and that's going to cost me a tremendous amount of money. I'm just starting out. I don't have the funds to do that. Well, I'm going to share with you guys how you can do this for as little as just $30 a month. Then there's time. People say, oh, it's too time consuming. I have to learn about all the different things that go into my Amazon business. I got to learn about all the different margin eaters. I got to learn about accounting. Well, I'm going to show you guys how to do this in just a few minutes and learn exactly what it takes to set the proper alerts so that you can take the time equation out of it and just go about with your normal business as usual stuff as a busy entrepreneur. So ability. Well, you guys aren't bookkeepers. I'm sure some of you, maybe you are, but I'm not. So what about ability? Is this something that you guys think you can do? I'm going to share with you guys exactly step-by-step how to do it. It's going to be super, super easy and straightforward. What about confusion? Well, I just showed you why there might be confusion. There's a billion different Amazon fees, right? You got all of those fees plus all of the different variables of being a seller. We are going to take the confusion right out of it and simplify the heck out of everything so that you know at the end of the day exactly how much money you're making. And finally, what about fear? So this is what stopped me. This is what was holding me back. I knew something was wrong. I knew something deep down inside with my business was not right. We were making a ton of money top side on the top revenue, but we weren't bringing home. We weren't keeping a lot of it. So my fear was, where was all the money going? I was fearful of actually looking into my business, into the nitty-gritty details of my business. Let me tell you guys, if you don't look into your business, then you're not going to be empowered to make the right decision. So overcoming that fear and looking and knowing the details of our business was the absolute best thing that we could have done to the bottom line of our business and the future of our business. So I'm going to share with you guys a simple strategy to help you overcome that fear so you can start from a great playing field and go from there. So here is a testimonial from Kathy. Last month, I was sitting with my son who works in the finance district in New York City, to go over my QuickBooks account and try to figure out where my money was. We were perplexed by the lack of cash flow. Sounds familiar. The next day, I got the email to be a beta tester for PPC Margins, which I jumped on because it seemed as if you were reading my mind. When I had the chance to go over the software a bit and then jump on a webinar to see even more, I was blown away. This software is worth its weight in gold, in my opinion. I was able to see just where my PPC ad spend was going and also was able to see which products I should just stop putting any effort into with the chopping block feature. Yes, I'm also amazed at the products with low margins that I thought were high, and it seems returns are an issue, which I never even considered before. Thank you so much for letting me join this beta group. You can bet I'll be purchasing the software as soon as it's available. All right, guys. So introducing Entourage Margins, we're going to clearly see where every dollar is spent and how much money you're actually keeping. You're going to discover margin eaters, draining your Amazon profits, and the strategies to improve each one. It's the exact tool and strategies we use to increase our margins from 10 to 23%. One more testimonial and we'll get started. We use a lot of tools, and I must say Entourage Margins is probably one of, if not the most important tools we use. Very well done, Mike Zagare. I look forward to seeing all the new features as well as hopefully Shopify integration soon. Mike and his dream team make tools that save you money, period. Awesome. All right, guys. So one more time, if you could please share this. The number one margin eater is PPC Ad Spend. All right. So PPC Ad Spend, we're going to target 6 to 12% ad spend margin impact. That means if you have your, like I said before, 100% margins, 6 to 12% of that 100% should be eaten by ad spend, your PPC ad spend. Now, that includes your sponsored ad spend and also your sponsored brand ad spend. And a lot of sellers ask me, what should be the ratio? The ratio is 3 to 1. So typically 3 to 1. Now, this could be different for a lot of different sellers, but we want 3-to-1 sponsored ad spend to sponsored brand ad spend. Okay, so here's a look at the ad spend margin impact over a period of time. And what's beautiful about this is you can begin to start to track this. Now, my friend Tony reached out to me about 2 weeks ago because he realized that his ad spend margin impact went from about 10, 11% all the way up to near 20%. And what was happening was he had somebody that was clicking on all of his ads and not purchasing. So his ad spend was going up. He was just being eaten alive by ad spend, and our tool was able to identify the problem. What we ended up doing for him was we ended up putting on, we ended up starting his ads later in the day, doing day party and starting his ads later in the day, and sort of tricking whoever was clicking on his ads. And that seemed to help the situation out quite a bit. So the point is, we want to know what the ad spend margin impact is. We want to make sure that it stays between 6 to 12%. If it starts to get higher than 12%, that means that it's impacting our bottom line too much and we have to take action. We also want to know the organic versus PPC sales ratio, which we would ideally like to see it at 80-20. And now what does this mean? This means that 80% of our sales are coming organically and 20% are coming through PPC. This usually means that we're making more money because most of our sales are coming organically. Typically, the PPC sales aren't always profitable. Typically they're break even. Maybe there's a little bit of profit there, but as long as we're skewed more towards the organic side, preferably 80-20, then we're in good shape. Now, Entourage Margins has a way to show you this on a SKU by SKU level. You can look at the parent, you can look at the child. Here we have one that's at 77% organic compared to 23%. And then 85% compared to 15%. All right. You also want to be able to assess PPC ad spend margin impact on a SKU by SKU level. So even though we're at 6%, like I showed you before, 6 to 7% overall, how is each one of the SKUs doing individually? Here we have one that's 7.56%. Then as we open this up, we can see one of the SKUs, and this is a variation of the SKUs, is at 14.6% margin impact. Now, that could be because we're spending a lot of ad spend on this particular unit, but I would like to see this get down below 12%. So this is one that kind of jumps out at me, and this is one that I would take action on to sort of make sure that I'm not overspending on my ad spend on this particular SKU. All right, guys, so here's some PPC ad spend tips for improvement. You want to monitor and set alerts, set a target, and stick to the plan. Remember, profits first. Okay, guys, so what does this mean? You want to set an alert and make sure that if you set an alert for like 7%, as far as your PPC ad spend margin impact, if it gets to be above 7%, you want to be notified and you want to see what's going on. All right. If basically anything could be happening, there could be someone who is clicking on your ads. There could be a keyword that just got to be too expensive. There could be so many different things that happen. But if you're not alerted of the issue right away, then you're not going to be able to take action. So set an alert. We like to set a target here of 8%. And if it gets to be 8%, we get an email and then we stick to the plan and we try to make sure that we stay below that 8%. Next, we want to find costly keywords. And to do this, you can use the Entourage bulk editor to instantly find the worst offenders. So the Entourage bulk editor is a tool that allows you to see all of the keyword bid prices all at once for all of your campaigns and all of your ad groups. So you can go in there and see the most expensive keywords just by clicking on a button. Now, some of these keywords are like $2, $3, $4 a click. And as you guys know, we used to bid on keywords back in the day that were like less than $1 a click. Now they're like $3 or $4 or $5 a click. So you want to find the most costly keywords, the ones that have the highest cost per click, and ask yourself, is this something that's still worth the actual ad spend? I'm spending too much money on this. If I'm spending too much money on this, find those keywords and shut them off right away. Next, you want to find the keywords with no sales. We call those scoundrels. All right, guys, so keywords that have no sales are the ones that get a lot of clicks, but unfortunately don't have any sales. And once again, you want to find all of those in bulk, and you want to make sure that you turn those off. So we typically say if there's a keyword that has 10 clicks but no sales, we would turn that off. Some sellers do it at 6, 7, or 8 clicks, but we like to give the keyword at least an opportunity to get 10 clicks before it proves itself to be a scoundrel, okay? So if you find that it's a scoundrel, we want to find those keywords and turn them off. Once again, you can use the bulk editor inside of PPC Entourage to do that. Another tip that we found is working really, really well is optimize using negative phrase match. And make sure to set up your campaigns from the very beginning with negative phrase match. We've been using the tool Helium 10 to find the individual words that are not connected to what we're actually selling. And we're using them early on in our automatic campaigns and manual campaigns to set up negatives right from the bat. This gives a really good structure and foundation to your campaign. It helps guide Amazon to show your product to the right audience. And it helps save you a ton of money, which is going to keep your PPC ad spend margin impact much lower. And then finally, optimize using negative exact match where applicable, right? So if you find a search term that has multiple clicks and no sales, well, that means that it just does not connect to what you're selling for whatever reason. That's when you want to do a negative exact match. Once again, you could do that inside of the Entourage bulk editor tool. In a matter of seconds, we could find all of those keywords without any problems. All right, if it's too confusing, make sure to give us a call at the Entourage Management, and we'd be more than happy to help you out with some of your PPC confusion to reduce your PPC ad spend margin impact. All right, guys, this is a big one. Excited about this. This is the FBA Fee Margin Eater. This is Margin Eater number 2. What's up, Margin Eater? This is the absolute hungriest margin eater. Check this out, guys. In this year alone, we have spent $299,000 on FBA fees, which seems absolutely insane. Now, we want to target 25 to 40% FBA fee. This is the FBA fee margin impact. We're actually above 40%. So this is an area that we're continuously trying to improve upon. And my partner and I realized that we just have products that are too big, too bulky, too low cost, and the FBA fee margin impact is too high. So it helped us start to make better decisions when choosing new products, helped us realize which products we had to chop, and then we slowly started to improve our FBA fee margin impact. So what determines FBA fees? First, we have the referral fee, and there's a different referral fee percentage for each category. It's generally 8 to 15%, but in the clothing and accessory category, it's as high as 17%. So Amazon's going to take that just for referring you the customers and sending you all the traffic. Next, we have the fulfillment fees, which includes picking, packing, shipping, and customer service, as well as returns. So we have to pay for all that, and I'm really, really grateful for all that Amazon does. We just want to make sure that Amazon stays legit in the amount that they're charging us, and they charge us the exact amount that they're supposed to. So how does Amazon calculate fulfillment fees? Well, they look at the size of the package and the weight of the package to determine if it's a small standard size, a large standard size, or an oversized package. As long as it's under 20 pounds and then it's 18 inches by 14 inches by 8 inches or less, then it's considered a standard size package. If it starts to get higher than that, then Amazon will charge you for an oversize, and then your FBA fees could be increased considerably. So take this into consideration when you're packaging your products. Here's the issue. All right, so this is the same product, but a different fee. So you guys can see that this is the same product. We have a beige version of it, and we have a jumbo light gray version of it. And in one instance, we're being charged $11.53. The other instance, we're being charged $13.01. Now, this is just one example of where we had the same product and a different fee. Here's another example. And I actually could have taken a better screenshot of this because the top product, we were being charged $7.13, and the bottom one is $5.61. However, at the very top, this gray tray here, we were actually being charged as high as $11 at one point, okay? Now check out the difference in the FBA fee margin impact. 44% as opposed to 35%. That's a major difference. Like that money is going to Amazon and not in our pockets. And that just causes a huge ripple effect in the amount of money that you have to reinvest in your business. Here's what happened when I contacted Amazon. So basically what happened is I called Amazon. I said, listen, you guys are charging us too much money. What's going on? They remeasured the product. It took them a couple of days. Meanwhile, we were still getting charged those high fees. And they came back to us and said, okay, now we have the correct size in the warehouse. And then we tried to get money back. Here's what they said. They said that we have found that all the 5, because this happened to 5 ASINs, guys, it happened to 5 of our ASINs. All of the 5 ASINs is that were previously investigated are believed to were declined reimbursement based on the fluctuations of measurement. This is most likely due to having multiple sellers selling the same ASIN. So what's going on here is Amazon is saying that multiple sellers are selling our ASIN, which I'm not even quite sure is even true. And they said that other sellers had a higher package weight and package size than we did. And they measured that package size and they changed our FBA fee. Now, I can guarantee you this is going on across the board. And I can guarantee you that many of you on this call are not finding this out right away. This is how we lost nearly, it's got to be $30,000 to $50,000 in Amazon FBA fees just by this alone. All right, so let me read this over here. Multiple sellers sell the same ASIN. The weight and dimensions information may not represent your specific units. In some use cases, the item package dimensions or item package weight values for the same ASIN may differ significantly between sellers depending on the way they package the item or send it to the fulfillment center. However, all packaging styles will contribute to the ASIN level measurement. Big deal, guys. So if you have other people on your listing and they're sending in products and they make a sale, but they send it in a huge box, well, guess what? Amazon is going to use the bigger dimensional size of that box. They are in it to make money too. They're going to remeasure that, and then for some reason they're good. They don't automatically go back to the way it was. They'll use that box size most of the time, and then you'll get charged for all of these different fees. Okay, note, unit weights, dimensions, and other measures used to calculate fees are as determined by Amazon and are subject to variations based on packaging. Dimensions may change based on packaging type. So I just contacted a reimbursement company, and basically there are two different things. There's dimensional weight and then there's actual weight. So let's say you send in a package and it weighs 2 pounds, right? Okay, Amazon's going to charge you for a 2-pound package. But let's say there's now you send in a bigger package. That weight might actually go up because of what's called dimensional weight, which looks at the actual package size. So if they're going to take the bigger of the two. So if your dimensional weight goes up higher and it comes in at 2.2 pounds, now Amazon's going to charge you for 2.2 pounds. But get this, then they round it up to the next number. Okay, so now it's to 3 pounds. So you started off at 2 pounds. Some jacker sent in a package and now it's 2.2 pounds. Amazon puts it up to 3 pounds, and now we have an issue because all of our margins are going to Amazon and not back in our pocket. So here's some FBA fee tips for improvement. Know your product dimensions, including package, size, and weight. So this is step number 1, guys. Contact your suppliers and know all of your product dimensions, including your weight. We have to make sure that Amazon has the right information and that you're not being overcharged, because prevention is the number one way to make sure you don't lose money with FBA fees. You're going to set an alert and check for jackers. Okay, so what I mean by setting an alert, if you're using Entourage Margins, you can set an alert for FBA fee. So let's say we want to set an account-wide alert for FBA fees at, let's say, 43%. We're at 42%, but if our account gets to 43% and our account's impacted by 43%, I want to know right away, because I can guarantee you there is what we call a jacker. And here's how you set an alert inside of Entourage Margins. As you can see, it shows you the total account FBA fees, which are at 43%. And then you can set an alert, let's say for 44%, and get notified on an account level. You can also set what we call a child variation alert. And this is alert me when 2 child variations of the same product have FBA fee margins differing by more than 1%. So in the example I showed you before, when you had the 2 different colored trays, and one was being charged $7 and one was being charged $5, this alert would come in right away and you'd be notified so you could take action right away. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to request remeasurement, okay? So inside of Entourage Margin, we have a little flag here. It's going to pull up the SKU. It's going to pull up the actual correct dimensions, and you could simply copy that to a clipboard and send this over to Seller Central. The sooner the better. The sooner if you get alerted, make sure you go in right away, check to see what's going on, send this over to Amazon and have them remeasure, because they are not going to do it for you. Let me just get that straight. Next, we want to determine the proper reimbursement. All right, guys, so check this out. If you go into Entourage Margins, there is a little plus button next to each one of the SKUs that were impacted. Here's a SKU that was impacted from January 9th all the way to March 16th. Check it out. We were getting charged as high as $11 per FBA per unit across thousands of units. And then the actual FBA fee should have been about $5.70. Okay, guys, so that's a huge discrepancy, and we could easily see it by logging into Entourage Margins. The next thing is you're gonna click on that little plus button over here, and you're gonna see that there's a screen that shows up where it actually pulls all of the different FBA fees. And highlighted, I have all of the excessive FBA fees where I was overcharged $7 to $10 plus. And then over to the right, we have the correct FBA fee for $5.70. So as you can see, we start off really super high. Then Amazon, they kind of got their act together, but they were still charging us too much at $7.10. The crazy thing is we didn't even know. We thought that they were right at this point. And then it got crazy again. I don't even know how this happened. And then all of a sudden, Amazon finally started charging us the right amount at $5.70, and we have been sitting pretty at $5.70 ever since. But this tool allows you to pull the orders that you were overcharged on simply and easily for possible reimbursement. Now, when I say possible reimbursement, at this stage of the game, it is still very challenging to get money back from Amazon when you've been overcharged with FBA fees. They have come up with dozens of different reasons to not pay you back, and I can almost guarantee you the first time you try, it's never going to work out. So we're working with a team to see if it's possible to get this back, and we're working and trying every single little angle to try to get this money back. However, at least knowing what's bleeding right away and knowing that Amazon is making some mistakes here and there, it's going to empower you guys to make better decisions. It's going to allow you to see which ones are just not working out. It's going to allow you to just keep an eye on things, because this is like the biggest margin eater for sure. And here's what one of the reports shows, that very same report. Unfortunately, we were overcharged $3,675. Now, this was just for one SKU. So check this out. The actual FBA fee, $11.83. The correct FBA fee, $5.70. Overcharged, $6.13. Now, look at all these orders, guys. This is like a lot, 1,482 orders. And that's money that we could like pay a supplier, we can pay our shipper, or we can put in PPC, we could expand, all of that stuff, gone. Had we set this up earlier, we would have had that money in our pocket. All right, so here we go. Get ready, returns. Pretty big margin eater, can really eat into your bottom line. And it's crippling when it happens too much. So we want to target 2 to 5%, but that could be much higher depending on the category. And what do I mean by 2 to 5%? That's 2 to 5% return margin impact. Okay, so your business is impacted by 2 to 5%. We're around 2%. I know some categories are higher. So you want to find out exactly what your return category typically is. Okay, so customers, here's what goes on with the Amazon return policy. I'm going to go a little deep into policy here, guys, but I'm going to simplify this as much as possible. Okay, so customers can request a return within 30 days of receiving it. However, if you go into Seller Central, this is coming from Seller Central, to ensure a great customer experience, we may accept returns beyond the time frame stated in these policies. Now, there's no like maximum term. They basically say they may accept it beyond the time frame. So it's basically up to Amazon. Their main objective is to keep the buyers, keep people coming back, and keep them happy. So just keep in mind that without exception, they may go past this policy for whatever reason, and it could be 50, 60, 70 days later. Okay, so what happens when Amazon gets a return request? Amazon immediately takes the return funds from your upcoming disbursement. Okay, so somebody returns something, Amazon's going to take the funds from the original sale, and they're going to take it away from your disbursement, your future disbursement, because somebody has a return request. Next, they're going to give the customer a shipping label to return the item. All right. Now, from Seller Central, this is another thing that they do. In some cases, we issue customers a returnless refund. So that essentially means that they're going to get to keep your product and they don't have to send it in to Amazon. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, what if your product is, what if it's actually in good shape and it could be sold again? Well, we won't know that because Amazon did what's called a returnless refund. Now, I don't know if we've ever had a returnless refund, but it sounds kind of scary and it does happen. All right. So what happens when Amazon receives the return? A warehouse worker will look at the customer's return reason. They make a split-second decision on whether the item is still in sellable condition or not. Okay, so warehouse guy gets it, or girl, and says, okay, this is sellable or not sellable. Two different things, right? If it's sellable, items that are returned as sellable will be automatically returned to your active inventory. So that means you're not reimbursed for the money you lost when Amazon took it away for the return. But you still have your active inventory. So that's kind of like a wash, but you still have to pay for something. So it's not the best thing in the world. You still don't want returns. But if it goes back into your active inventory and you can resell it. The next thing is it could be damaged. And if it's Amazon's fault, which could be damaged by FBA workers, damage in transit, you are eligible for a reimbursement, which is pretty cool. Now, what does reimbursement mean? We'll actually cover that in a little bit. So it could be Amazon's fault if it's damaged. It also could be the FBA seller's fault. Well, that could be because of poor packaging. And unfortunately, that means you're not eligible for reimbursement. So you are going to get the grand salami of losses here. You're going to lose a chunk of money, and we'll go over exactly how much in a second. The third is customer damage. So it's opened and it's no longer new. Unfortunately, this is really bad. It's not returned to sellable inventory, and it's not reimbursed by Amazon. So I got a sad face over here because if the customer damages it, unfortunately, that's tough luck for sellers in this case. All right, if it's carrier damaged, which is the fault of the shipping company, you are eligible for a reimbursement. So that's kind of cool. And then if it's defective, the FBA customer is refunded, but the item stays in your inventory as unsellable. Some buyers say it's defective to get the free return from shipping, but it's not actually defective. Unfortunately, people actually do this. Hopefully, it's not often. There's going to be no reimbursement for a defective item. So what happens here? You can get your defective item shipped back to your house. You can check to see if it's still sellable, and then you can send it out. Sometimes buyers can be a little deceitful here and do things that aren't in good favor to you as a seller, but to get these shipped back to your house is probably the best bet because then you can see if it's still sellable. All right, so the returns time frame. Returns must arrive to Amazon's warehouse within 45 days of the return request. All right, so if you're going to return a product to Amazon, you've got to do it within 45 days. After 45 days, Amazon will charge the customer and credit your account for the item. Now, that's what they say, but they don't always do it. Unfortunately, after 45 days, Amazon is supposed to charge the customer the full price again and then give you the money back, okay? But that doesn't always happen, okay? So here is an example. Here's the sale. We made $10.65 after Amazon FBA fees. And then here's the return, and $16.46 went away from our account the next time. Now let's dive into this in a little bit more detail. We make sale for $16.99 on April 11th. Then we had the fees, the referral fees, and we had products tax added on. So we got back into our account $10.65. Customer requested a return on 5/6. So they got back in their pockets $16.99, $1.51 in tax they paid. Amazon then charges us a refund administration fee. And then Amazon returns to us the $2.55 for the original referral fee from the sale up here on April 11th. So the total that they take out of our account is $16.46. So the Amazon adjusted loss, if the $16.40 minus the original $10.65 that we made, we are losing in our adjustment $5.83 lost. But the total net impact without reimbursement, let's say Amazon does not reimburse us anything, is going to be that $5.83 that we lost, plus the cost of goods for the unit, plus any PPC fees that we paid to get the sale, right? So it adds up. And the total net impact with reimbursement is going to be $5.83, plus we lost the PPC fees. So let's say that's like another $2. and then minus whatever Amazon decides to reimburse us. Now, that's a big question. Is Amazon going to reimburse us the entire portion of the sale? Do they reimburse just the FBA fee? And I asked a specific question to the FBA reimbursement company, and they said it's really unknown. It's like the best answer I can give you guys is that it's different every single time in terms of what actually is going to be reimbursed for Amazon. So what they do is they actually help sellers get the most amount of money back. And we'll talk more about that in a second. All right, guys. So returns, tips for improvement. First, you want to know your category's average return rate, okay? You want to monitor and set alerts. So once again, we're always setting alerts because if our return rate margin impact is, let's say, 2%, and we go to 3%, that's no good. We want to make sure that we have an alert set and we can go out and figure out exactly what's going on. All right. Then we want to set an alert for a parent. You could do that across the parent inside of Entourage Margin, or you can do it for the individual units, individual variations inside of margins. We want to monitor return reasons and check for leeches. All right, guys, leeches. What are leeches? Leeches could be bad products. Leeches could be products that have a bad listing. You know, maybe your listing images are bad. Maybe your title is bad. Maybe you're not describing your product the right way and your return rate is super high. We want to check for these leeches and then fix whatever we have to fix to improve your return rate. So knowing this and having the clarity of exactly what your margin impact is for returns on a SKU by SKU level allows you to check for leeches. And here's a leech. We have a parent product here that has a 4.14% return rate margin impact. And down over here, we have an individual, here we go. We have a variation. It's a different color, a 6.12% return rate margin impact. Now, why is one 6.12% and one is 3.97%? Well, there's a reason for that. We want to check for leeches. We want to go in there. We want to figure it out. We want to dive deep into what exactly is going on. Maybe we cut this product because we know it's no longer good for us. Maybe we improve the listing. Maybe we move on completely. Whatever it is, knowing this is important. And then digging deep into this leech, we can see, my gosh, look at all these reasons. So once we clicked on the dashboard for this leech, we got to the reason. We got to defective, quality unacceptable, not as described, unwanted item, unwanted item. If you start to see some patterns, you can download the report, you can send it to your supplier, and most importantly, you can take action. You could also tell here if Amazon owes you some money. And I highly suggest that once you log into Entourage Margins, you go ahead and use the Entourage Margins recovery tool, which is going to help you save some money. We actually go and get some of these refunds on your behalf, and we go out and we fight on your behalf to get some of this money back for you. Because once again, if somebody doesn't send in their product within 45 days, Amazon owes you money, they may not pay you back right away. And if you go to get that money back, they're probably going to say no initially. And it takes on average 3 to 5 times to kind of fight with Amazon to get your money back. That's what we're hearing in the service. That's what we've been seeing. So you want to make sure that you have a team of people trying to fight for you to get that money back. All right, so make sure you get reimbursed and hire the margins recovery service to help you guys out in getting some of that money back, which otherwise would be lost money that you probably wouldn't see anymore. All right, guys, this one's pretty cool. This is promo fees. Promo fees. And if you guys have any questions, we're going to be going over these questions at the very end. We have a time for questions. All right. So promo fees. All right, we're going to target 5%, but it's highly dependent on seller strategy. So if you're early on in the life cycle of your product and you want to get it out to as many eyeballs as possible, you may have a higher promo fee margin impact as compared to a seasoned product that has good visibility, good organic sales. You may have like a 2% margin impact there. So what is your promo fee margin impact? Here's a look at our account. We have a 2.88% promo fee margin impact, totaling $1,006.45 over this period of time. So what's included in promo fees? Well, we have the actual promotions, which is the free shipping, the percentage off, the buy one, get one free, or the giveaway. So let's say you go ahead and you do buy one, get one free, then the promo fee margin impact is going to be whatever the cost is of that free unit, because that's considered an impact to your bottom line. Let's say you do 10% off, buy one, get one 10% off. Then the promo fee margin impact is going to be that 10% off. So we want to keep account for all of this stuff because it impacts the amount of money that we're getting back and the amount of money that we're putting back into our pockets. Next, we have the, here's the actual look of a promotion inside of Amazon in case you're not familiar with what a promotion looks like on a product detail page. All right, next we have coupons. So coupons are relatively new, been around for maybe a year or so. And basically coupons are a great way to get people to take action and to convert even on brand new products. We do this with like combining with PPC and new products and have a lot of success. But unfortunately, it has a huge impact on your margins because Amazon takes out 60 cents per clippable coupon, right? Plus whatever the discount is. So let's say you're giving $2 off, then it's going to cost you $2.60. So that's going to eat away at your bottom line. And if your product is like, let's say $15, $2.60, is a huge percentage of your margin impact. So your promo fee margin impact could be very high. So we want to make sure that earlier on in the life cycle, this is probably going to be a little bit higher. And then we want to make sure it's around 2%. Here's what a coupon looks like in a listing. It's a clippable coupon. All right, guys, next we have lightning deals, which according to Cyndi Thomason, this is something you really have to be careful of because let's say you do a lightning deal for like 20% off, right? And then you have to pay the lightning deal fee. And then you get a really shitty time frame, like 2 in the morning or something, and you don't really sell a lot of units. What the heck is the margin impact on that? You're going to be ended up losing a lot of money, and it's likely not going to be worth your time or effort. We actually did, I think we did about $300,000 or $400,000 during Prime Day last year. And if I could take it all back, I would, because the actual deals were incredibly expensive. The margin we made was not worth it. It just wasn't worth it. So this is incredibly important to know what the promo fee margin impact is, especially when you're doing lightning deals. Here's the other kicker, guys. If you have a coupon on your lightning deal, people who are savvy shoppers can combine stuff. So you're going to end up getting even higher promo fee margin impact. So make sure you're looking at all this stuff and make sure that you're not getting in trouble. Okay, so promos, tips for improvement. Know your SKU's profitability. Can you afford it? This is a big one. I was giving away promos on SKUs that I could not afford to give away promos on. And I can't stress this enough. If your product has slim picking margins to begin with, and you start putting in promo fees and that eats away at it even more, there's like a chance you may not be making any money at all, or you could be losing money on each sale, okay, which has actually happened to us, and we had to figure that out right away. So know your SKU's profitability and ask yourself, can you afford it? So here we go. This is the Entourage Margins main dashboard, and you can see all of the SKUs grouped by parents. Now, once you click on that little arrow, and I'll show you guys later, you're going to see all of the variations go down the page. But here we can see the product margins as a parent, and we can see that we have a 13.29% margin on that top product. Now, asking myself, can I afford promos? The answer is unquestionably no, because I'm only making 13.29%. Do I want to dip into that by even more? So I have to definitely look into that and see. And look, I'm already doing that. So here's something I would investigate. Okay, guys? Next, we have the 28.76. There's a little bit more room left in the bone. Then we have 32%. And then look at the one at the very bottom, 6.82%. There's just no room for loving over there. Pretty soon we're going to be paying Amazon. And, unless there's a good reason to keep that product around, we got to take it to the chopping block. All right, guys, so the next thing is track sales and conversion rates and then test. So if you do put a coupon up, you do that, or a promotion or a lightning deal, track and test everything. See if it's actually worth it. Do you actually make more money and more sales velocity as a result of that coupon or not? So pretty soon we're going to have this feature inside of Entourage Margins where you can test, do an quick little A/B split test, and see if the promo fees that you're spending on are actually worth it, and if you're actually making more money at the end of the day. but make sure you test this out and don't just put it up there. You want to test out and get your results. Next, you want to monitor and set alerts and check for runaways. So what are runaways? Runaways are products like I just showed you that basically that your margins have run away. Like there's just nothing left and you're doing promos and it's like bye-bye margins, see you later. So you want to check for runaways in the way that I just shared with you guys. Also, you want to stay organized. So how many of you guys find it really, really easy inside of Seller Central to find all of the different promos and coupons and promotions and stuff like that, right? It's impossible to find. So you want to stay organized. You want to keep on track of this and see exactly which type of coupons are actually being used. So here we have it broken down inside of Entourage Margins. You can quickly and easily see all of the different coupons and promotions. And there's going to be a breakdown and how much you've actually spent on those coupons and promotions. And then, of course, once you click onto the individual dashboard, you can see the margin impact of those individual coupons. Pretty cool, right, guys? So you can see that this margin is being impacted by 0.33% by this coupon. All right, not a big deal. I will take that any day of the week, so long that I can afford it. All right, guys, so having more intelligence and knowing what's going on, staying organized is half the battle in making better decisions for your business. All right, now the fifth margin eater, we have storage fees. Now this one got a little bit less fierce, thankfully, in 2019. We want to target less than 1% margin impact. So there's monthly inventory storage fees and there's long-term storage fees. Let's go over the monthly inventory storage fees first. So as you can see, the monthly inventory storage fees is charged by cubic feet. So from January to September, you're being charged 0.69 cents per cubic foot, and then oversize is a little bit less. Then it jumps up significantly during the holiday season to $2.40 per cubic foot, and then oversize is $1.20 per cubic foot. So it makes a really big difference in terms of what time of the year it is. And here it is inside of Entourage Margins, your storage fee margin impact. As you can see, we're less than 1%. In the last 3 months, we've spent $2,899 on our storage fees. Next, we have the long-term storage fees. So basically for the long-term storage fees, this is where Amazon gave us a great break from 181 days all the way to 365 days. You're not going to be charged long-term storage anymore. So thankfully, Amazon made that change last year, and it makes a big difference because now after 365 days, you're going to start to be charged long-term storage fees. So basically, they're going to charge you a minimum of 15 cents per month or $6.90 per cubic foot, whatever is more. Obviously, it's typically going to be the $6.90 per cubic foot. So you still want to make sure that you don't have products in there past 365 days. You still want to make sure that you sell and turn over your products fast, because having a product in the warehouse for 365 days means you haven't made any money at all, because whatever you paid for it 365 days ago could have been better spent somewhere else. Turnover is absolutely critical in this game, but if it gets to be past 181 days, thankfully Amazon is not charging us anymore. Just make sure past 365, you take into account your long-term storage fees. Now, inside of Entourage Margins, we have you covered in that area. We calculate that every single month, and we'll show you that fee. Next, we have the inventory placement fees. And my partner and I got a big shock of our lives a couple months ago when we decided to do the inventory placement service. And basically what that is you send it all to one Amazon warehouse, and they distribute it on your behalf to whatever other warehouses they want to send it to, as opposed to picking a plan and sending it to multiple warehouses from the very beginning. So we did this, unfortunately, and look at the money it cost us. Yeah, we had a shocking moment about that one. Not a good thing for us, guys. So just keep that in mind going forward, that this kind of hurt our business a little bit. But anyways, if you do decide to do it, if it's good for you, we can track that inside of Margins. Next, we have the removal fees. So if you go ahead and you get a product and you have to remove it for whatever reason, that does cost a certain dollar amount per unit. I think it's still, was it 50 cents per unit to remove it? But that adds up over time, and we can track that as well. Once again, that all goes into your margin impact at the end of the day. So storage fees, tips for improvement. We want to practice inventory management routinely. This to me is like one of the number one most important things you can do inside of your business is to know inventory management, to set up systems, look at it on a weekly basis, know how much you have to order, don't over order, know the fluctuations in seasonality. I think this is more of a fine art than anything else. And no matter how good you get at it, or no matter what tool you're using, it could help, but you're never going to get it 100% right. I'm sorry. It's like impossible, especially if you have multiple brands and multiple SKUs. Give yourself some credit, guys, if something goes wrong, but just keep in mind, you have to practice this. You have to practice it like you practice the piano because you're going to make mistakes. All right. So next, you're going to monitor and set alerts. Once again, we want to monitor and set alerts for all of our margin eaters inside of Entourage Margins to make sure that we're not being overcharged and to catch the mistake right away. Next, we want to keep inventory fresh and check for loafers. All right, so what the hell are loafers? Loafers is this big green ugly thing that Marvin's fighting. Basically, these are SKUs that have been hanging around too long. They're hanging around in Amazon's warehouse. They're getting comfortable. They're basically not making anyone money. They're loafing around, and eventually they're going to start costing you a ton of money. And think about it, if you're spending money for those products to loaf around, eventually there's going to be no money or no margin left over, especially if it gets to be 365 days. So you want to keep inventory fresh, turn it over, check for loafers. And don't be afraid to chop. I know many of you get connected to products. Maybe you developed it yourself. Maybe it was your first product. Maybe you have some kind of an emotional tie to it for whatever reason. I know I have that. But don't be afraid to chop based on the actual numbers. If the FBA fees are too high, if it's just sitting there in the warehouse loafing around, if it's not good with PPC or whatever it is, and there's just not enough margin at the end of the day, don't be afraid to chop it off, because guess what? That product that's sitting there loafing around is taking up energy, whether it be your energy, it's your energy, but it's taking up resources, it's taking up your time, it's taking up your mental capacity, it's taking up your energy that could be put into other products that are going to better serve the Amazon community. Okay, so other margin eaters. Here we go. We're almost done, guys, with the margin eaters. We have cost of goods sold. All right, so this is the cost per unit plus the shipping per unit cost to send to Amazon plus anything else like inspections or whatever. So let's say you purchase a unit for $1 and it costs you 10 cents per unit to get that over to Amazon from China. Plus you have to add in tariffs in this too. Like all of that would go right into here. And so the cost of goods sold, that would be important to know. Now, it's important to know this margin eater, and this is another area where if you're not good with negotiating, you could be losing some money. So you want to make sure that you negotiate with your supplier, you have a good relationship with your supplier, but make sure that you have a fair deal set up with your supplier, and don't be afraid to shop around because there's probably better opportunities and better deals out there. Okay, operating expenses. This is a big one, guys. Operating expenses can truly add up. There's lots of shiny objects out there. There's lots of different softwares. There's lots of different things you can do, lots of different coaching, all that kind of stuff. All of this can eat into your bottom line in terms of operating expenses. That's not to say that it's not absolutely important to keep some of this stuff in your business. Totally is important. But I like to do what's called the chopping block, sharpen the saw, Stephen Covey exercise, where once a month, actually, we've been doing it once a week for both of our businesses. Once a week, we look at all of the expenses on our credit cards, and I ask myself, first, sometimes I say, what the hell is this expense? And then we get rid of it. Or we just ask ourselves, are we still in need of using this operating expense in our business? And this is also covered by Cyndi Thomason in her book. And she said to definitely go through like all of these expenses and ask yourself, is this tool, am I still using it? Or do I still need this, whatever, service or whatever it is? Because we want to make sure that we preserve margins and pay ourselves. Remember, guys, profit first. All right. So in the book's Profit First, the author, Cyndi Thomason, recommended 30%. Now, that's after all is said and done. You want to have 30%, which allows you to put some money back into cost of goods and purchase more inventory, and also some money back into your pocket, and then some money into operating expenses. Okay? So here's how to calculate your true profitability. You're going to take your top line sales minus all Amazon fees. Those are the margin eaters that we just talked about. you're going to subtract your cost of goods, and that's going to give you your gross margin. Here's an example of what that looks like. Let's say you do $10,000 in sales, $3,000 in Amazon fees, $2,000 in cost of goods. You're left over with $5,000. That's a 50% gross margin. Next, you're going to subtract Amazon advertising costs and business expenses from the gross margin. Let's say that was $2,000. So that $5,000 is going to be subtracted by another $2,000. And then we have $3,000 left over for a 30% net profit margin. All right, pretty cool. Why is this difficult to do on Amazon? Well, as you guys can see, there's an absolute tonnage of different fees. There's different things that you have to track. There's your operating expenses. There's cost of goods, which are always fluctuating. There's all of these different things. So Amazon, while it gives us an amazing opportunity, it's very tricky and very challenging to stay organized on Amazon. Are you guys cool if I share with you live just how easy this is to do inside of Entourage Margins? If you're cool with that, type in yes in the chat box. And awesome, Abby. I'm glad you found this stuff important. Hey, guys, type in yes in the chat box. I will share with you guys a really cool demonstration of how easy this is to do inside of Entourage Margins. All right, here we go. You convinced me. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Terry, Amanda, Alex, Oscar, Jenny. So happy to have you guys here. Thank you so much for coming. All right, guys. Here is Entourage Margins. I am incredibly excited and passionate and thankful to be sharing this because this information has changed our business. It has been an absolute pleasure to work on this in the last few months. And I cannot wait to share with you guys how much of an impact I think this could have on your business. So if you look at Entourage Margins, the first thing you're going to see is your actual net margin. Now we're looking at last month and we're looking at one business. The beauty of Entourage Margins is that you can combine multiple accounts. Let's say you have an account in Europe, you have an account in Canada, you have an account in Mexico, India. You can combine all of that and you can view them individually. But the beautiful thing is you can also view them as a business. So I'm looking at just the Easyology USA account, but if I wanted to look at my entire business, I can view my entire business over here. I can then assign business expenses to that business, and at the very end of the day, know exactly to the dollar how much money that business is actually making. So let me show you guys exactly how to do that inside of Entourage Margins. I'm going to go over here, and you can set up your Amazon account right over here, and then you can set up your business right over here. So as you can see, I've set up my Easyology business, and I put in all of the different accounts over here. I named it Easyology business. I can assign or add another business if I wanted to. Let's say I had another brand. You can go ahead and do that and keep everything separate and know how profitable your business is at the end of the day. Next, you want to assign monthly expenses to that business, which you can do right over here. Now, we are going to have an integration with QuickBooks and Xero and a couple of other tools very soon, so you can actually pull in certain things. But until then, you can add expenses over here and assign some monthly expenses right over here. Okay, so let's refresh that here. There we go. All right, so as you can see, we assigned $2,000 here and $6,000 over here. Okay, so now that's going to be assigned to the actual business, not to the actual account. Now I'm going to go over here and check this out. So this is our look at the tool over the last 7 days, and we can see that our margin over the last 7 days is 24%. The first step is to go down the page, and here's where you can see all of the product margin percentages on a parent level. So you can see this in the last 7 days, we're doing 20.83% margin impact for this particular product in the USA market. If I click on this little button over here, check this out, guys. Now I know exactly how much margin percentage I'm making on an individual SKU by SKU level across the board. Now, I love showing people this right away because it's great for diagnostics. Let's say I'm going down and I'm like 13% over here or 12%. I want to know what the heck is going on. I'll simply go over here and I'll look at the different margin eaters and I'll see which ones are getting out of control. And I will go ahead and I will make some adjustments and then investigate a little further. This is kind of like where you start off your investigation and you notice like what's sort of not working out right away by looking at the different product margin percentages right over here. Some other really cool things that you can do over here, you can see how many sales are coming from organic and PPC. You can see the units, full and promo, and also the average units per day. This is really critical when making inventory management decisions, and we have found that we use this now instead of other inventory softwares that we used to use. Okay, also you can see the returns and the product margins in terms of dollars. All right, so now the really cool thing is that all of the different margin eaters that we just went over are located at the very top of the page, okay? So we even have tax, which we didn't cover, and I won't even touch tax because it's way too complicated for me. But here are all of the different margin eaters. Now I'm gonna focus in on the FBA fee one. All right, so here we go, guys. FBA fee margin impact, you can see that our account in the last 7 days was impacted by 42.65%, okay? $16,000 in FBA fees. Now, I've had a bad day yesterday. Maybe something's going on. I may have to do some investigation. But as I go down the page, check this out. We can see the FBA fee margin impact for each parent product. And then if I want to dig even further, we can see the FBA fee margin impact for each child variation. Now, why is this important? Because you're going to be charged, look at this, 45% FBA fee margin impact, same product, different color, 50%. Something is wrong here. I have to contact Amazon. Look, $7.77, $8.19. Okay, this is a perfect example. Now, I had no idea this was going on until just now. Unfortunately, I did not set an alert, and I'll show you guys how to set an alert. Very simple to do. But if I go down the page over here, you can see that there's a different charge for each one. Let me give you guys another example of this. I'm going to go further down the page. You can see that anytime you see a fluctuation like this, and if I were to look at, like, let's say 3 or 4 months, you're going to see these big, big spikes. And that's where Amazon is overcharging you in FBA fees. And when you find those big spikes, that's when you want to open up a ticket. And the first thing you want to do is you want to come over here, you want to open up a ticket, and I'll do this on an individual, and you're going to send this case over to Amazon. Now, I showed you guys how to do this before. Copy to clipboard and send that over to Amazon and stop the bleeding right away. So that's the first step. And then what you want to do is you want to try to get possible reimbursement. Now, check this out. We can do that. We know that our average FBA fee is $7.50. Amazon has charged us $8.18. I could simply and easily pull a report and find all of that in a second and then use that as a potential case for reimbursement. It's not guaranteed, but at least you have a very easy, simple, streamlined way of finding all of the orders that were impacted. Once again, if we had some orders that had no impact and some that did, you'd see big fluctuations here, and it's probably going to see that across the board in your account. Okay, guys. So now, as you can see, the layout of the account is it shows you all of the different margin eaters as you go across. The return margin impact, 1.55%. And then as you go down the page, you can see on an individual, on a parent, and then the individual SKU by SKU level, exactly what's getting impacted. So you know that some products have a high return fee margin impact. And then if you want to know exactly the reason why, simply go over here and you can get all of your orders and all of the product returns, and you can see what's actually going on. Okay, the same thing for storage fees. Check this out, guys. Individual product storage fee margin impact. So you really, really get the granular details so you can start to do your investigation to see what's going on. The margin recovery allows you to get back the money that Amazon owes you. This is an additional tool that we use, additional service, and we highly recommend that you sign up for that. And then we have what we call the alert section. So the alert section is where you go to set account-wide alerts. You can set alerts weekly, daily, or monthly, but you can also set product alerts like this. If you want to set on a parent level or an individual SKU by SKU level, you can do that as well. So the account-wide alerts, let's say we wanted to set a child variation alert. Alert me when 2 child variations of the same product have an FBA fee margins differing by more than 5%. So in the example I just shared with you with the litter mat, we would have been alerted. I did not turn this on because we were testing some things. I'm going to turn this on right as soon as this the webinar is done so I can get alerted of that issue right away. All right, guys. Another cool thing that allows sellers to make better decisions is what's called the chopping block. So the chopping block is going to show you the products with the lowest product margins, okay? Check this out, minus 37%, minus 33%. We're losing money on this product for whatever reason. Now, keep in mind, if the product is out of stock, then your returns are going to show up, and you may have to just put this on what we call the ignore list until it gets back in stock. But if it's a true stinker, then we want to add it to the chopping block feature right over here. All right, guys? And finally, the most important thing, and the reason why everyone is all here, is to know their net margin. So Amazon makes this very difficult to do, but if you know exactly how much you're spending in your business in terms of your cost of goods and in terms of your business expenses, and you put it into your business, now you can see your entire net margins, all of your fees, every single little detail, every single little fee that goes into your business, everything. Put it in here and you come across with your actual net margin, which is going to empower you hopefully to make better decisions. Decisions like when to pay yourself, when to go into new products, what products should you get rid of, why are my returns so high, what do I have to do in terms of improving my returns. All of these things you can be empowered by knowing what your margins actually are. All right, guys. So now that now that you learned how to harness the power of Entourage Margins, isn't that pretty cool? So far in this webinar, we have covered all of the 5 margin eaters. We have PPC Ad Spend. We have FBA Fee Margin Impact. We have promo fees. We have storage fees. And we have returns. We've covered all of that, and we've covered how to calculate your net profitability and why it's challenging to do on Amazon, and why you could likely benefit from a tool to help assist you in doing some of that. So using these strategies for our business has yielded some amazing, awesome results. Check this out, guys. We went from 10% margins all the way up to 22% plus, okay? And that was just from using this information, contacting Amazon, getting rid of products that were bad products, improving our promo fees, all across the board, figuring out what was bleeding, setting some alerts, all of that stuff, all the way up to 22% plus. So how many of you are excited about what we just talked about today? And if you just used just a tiny fraction of what I just showed you, would you say that you could improve your margins? Just a tiny bit of what I just showed you. I know you guys can improve your margins. And can you see yourself finding some hidden margin leaks and making some quick adjustments? If you follow what I presented and master all of the margin eaters and had a full crystal clear clarity into your Amazon margins, do you think you could make better business decisions? That's the name of the game, making better business decisions. And I can guarantee you that clarity is the way to make better business decisions. So here's a quote from Cyndi Thomason. I am super excited for the margins tool and know it's going to be a real asset for our clients as they are struggling to maintain their profitability. Yes, a lot of sellers are struggling to maintain their profitability, and they need to know exactly why. Where is the cash at the end of the day? And if it's good enough for Cyndi Thomason, and if she's using it for her clients, I know that a lot of sellers can benefit from this as well. What if I said you could gain access to all of these powerful tools today? Would you guys be excited? Is it okay if I show you guys how you can gain access to Entourage Margins with our exclusive webinar early adopter discount? All right, guys, cool. So this webinar early adopter discount is not going to be around for very long. We're going to start off with a super, super affordable price on Entourage Margins. And if you get it today, this price is going to be locked in for the eternity of your account with Entourage Margins. You're going to get all of the tools that I just showed you for one low price. That's the Margins Alert tool. That's the FBA Fee Margins tool. That's the PPC Margin tool. The Returns Margin tool, Promo Fee Margin tool, the Storage Fee Margin tool, the Business Creator and Margin Tracker, and also the Chopping Block tool, all for one low price. And you guys are probably wondering what the heck that is. And some of the beta testers, we asked them how much they would actually pay for this, and they said, I don't know, 100 a month, 200 a month. It's probably worth more than that. One guy went as high as $250 a month. But what you guys are going to pay is just $30 a month for the webinar early adopter exclusive. So $30 a month gets you all of those tools. And if you sign up in the next 3 days only, you're going to get 50% off for the first 6 months, right, guys? So for the first 6 months, all you pay is $15 a month for some of the most insightful intelligence that you can take and know exactly how much you're making in your Amazon business. That is incredibly insightful information that's going to empower you, hopefully, to make much, much, much better business decisions. This deal is only going to be around for 3 days. Okay, guys, so get 50% off for the first 6 months. It's an absolute steal and a total bargain. So here's what you're going to get. You're going to save $90 the first 6 months. You're going to save 50% in your Entourage Margins account. Next, we're going to have a 4-week group margin training sessions with me. Okay, guys, we're going to go into each one of those different margin eaters. This is going to be interactive. We're going to do a deep dive into FBA fees. We're going to do a deep dive into promo fees. Each week, we're going to cover something brand new, and we're going to give some actionable steps you can take right away. Even though you can do this clearly with just the margins tool, we're going to all do this in group format and really learn from each other and get really, really good at knowing our margins and knowing how to keep them at bay with some of those crazy margin eaters that are out there. So a 4-week group margin training session with me is going to be included. We are likely going to start that in 2 or 3 weeks from now. That has a $497 value, although I'm almost positive that anything you learn in that webinar is going to be way more than that, and just the amount of money you're going to save by some of the things that we're going to go over on that trading session. Okay, so next we have the PPC Entourage Bulk Optimization Bootcamp Series. So guys, this is a step-by-step guide on how to use the PPC Entourage Bulk Optimization tool, which is our top feature by far. Sellers use this to clean up their PPC campaigns. We use this back in, I think it was 2018, when we were spending $60,000 in PPC fees. Unfortunately, we took some bad advice, and we had to get that down to $40,000 quick. That's why we developed the bulk optimization tool. And now we are able to do all that stuff that we did back then. We're able to do it in seconds across all of our campaigns, all of our ad groups, and make some really, really great decisions. We're going to give you the bootcamp series, which is going to go over all the different tools, which is very simple and straightforward, easy, simple to use, and can give you maximum leverage when doing your PPC. And by far, it's our best feature inside of Entourage. That's what our sellers are saying. Okay, so you're going to get the PPC optimization bootcamp series that has a $197 value. Finally, we got some more things for you. We're going to do the webinar, profitability webinar with Cyndi Thomason. So Cyndi has agreed to do a webinar with me in June, likely going to be late June. We're going to dive into everything deep profit first. We're going to go into profit first. You're going to know exactly how much money you should be saving into your business, when you should pay yourself, how much you should save for different things like inventory, for advertising, all of this stuff. It's going to give you a ton of clarity. And by the way, guys, I spelled her name wrong. It's Cyndi over here. But what you want, definitely go ahead and get this book because it is a total game changer. So her and I are going to have this webinar. We're going to go back and forth and go over the different ways for you to save money in your business. I'm going to look at it from an Amazon perspective and the different fees. And she's going to look at it from an actual business perspective, like looking at all of your different expenses, how much you should spend on your expenses, all of this stuff. This is a can't miss webinar, and we promise to bring a ton of value during this webinar. So that has a $497 value. And next, you're going to get $50 off our one-time optimization blitz. So if you are not good with optimization in your PPC, then totally take us up on this offer, because what we do is we have one of our managers go in and look at your account and do what we call an optimization blitz. We're going to get rid of the lowest hanging fruit. We're going to get rid of the worst offenders. We're going to get rid of the leeches, the scoundrels, all of the keywords that are costing you too much money, the search terms. We're going to implement some negative phrase matches. We're going to do a bunch of different things to save you money in a one-time optimization blitz. Normally, this is a $197, but you're going to save $50 off that if you sign up today. And this is an optional thing. You don't have to do it, but you will have that coupon available to you. Next, you're going to have a $50 coupon for a coaching session, and you can use that coaching session preferably for PPC. We originally started as a full PPC company. We have a ton of knowledge in PPC. That is our expertise, but you can also use that coaching session towards margins, the margins tool, helping you get some insight into how to use the tool the very best way. And that's $197 normally, and you'll get a $50 off coupon for that as well. So there we go. That is what you're going to get now. We have it all listed here. $50 off coupon for the Optimization Blitz and $50 off one-time coaching session. And also as a bonus, you guys are going to get access to all of the Margins premium features for life. All right, guys, so we're going to be adding a ton of features to Entourage Margins to help simplify and improve sellers' businesses. We have so many ideas, and they're really cool. This first one is the cash flow tool. I know Mike is listening to this. Guys, the cash flow tool is, right now we use an Excel spreadsheet, but we're building it out inside of Entourage Margins. This is an absolute critical way to know exactly how much money you have right now and when these big expenses are coming. And we developed this cash flow tool to allow sellers and empower sellers to know exactly when they have to pay certain expenses. This tool basically should be renamed Able to Sleep at Night, because basically with this tool in place, my partner and I knew exactly when we had these big expenses. We broke down all of our monthly expenses into average daily expenses, including PPC, and we had this beautiful spreadsheet, and we knew when things were due, and it was just magical. So we're going to enter that into as a premium feature, and you guys are going to get access to that for life. We will be charging people after this webinar for the cash flow tool. Next, we have a product called Product Potential. So Product Potential is going to be a way to see if new products are potentially going to be good for your product line. And basically, it's going to show you what your margins could potentially be for that product before you actually invest in that product. This way you can be empowered to make much better decisions. This tool is also in development. It's going to be available to you guys for free, but eventually we will be starting to charge for these premium features, but not you if you take us up tonight. So the total value, all of this combined, is $2,375 plus. I think that just taking the one decision inside of Entourage Margins could save you potentially tens of thousands of dollars. But we've assigned a total value of $2,375. I think it's much, much more than that. So total value is $2,375. But if you sign up in the next 3 days, you're going to pay just $15. Now that sounds insane, but we want to get margins out to as many Amazon sellers as possible. We strongly, strongly feel that this tool can help a lot of sellers. We've aligned ourselves with Cyndi and a bunch of other top companies out there that want to help get the word out there, because this is an area that Amazon sellers are just totally confused about. So check this out, guys. Just $15 today and $15 a month for the next 6 months. And then, like I said, after 6 months, it'll go to 30 months. But just for today, it'll go to $30. Just for today, it's $15. Okay, so this offer expires in 3 days. So absolutely sign up tonight. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that. Go to this link right over here. And if you guys can throw that link inside of the chat box, it's getppcentourage.com/discount. Enter coupon code LOVEMARGINS. Yes, because we do love our margins. Go over here, guys. It's going to be $15 today for the next 3 days only. Then it will go up to $30, and you won't get any of the bonuses that we just recommended. It'll be $30 after that. So this is a one-time exclusive webinar discount, because this is the first time margins available to anybody. All right, guys, so head on over to this link and check it out. As you guys know, we are a trusted service in the Amazon community. We've been on multiple podcasts and webinars and blogs and all of these different things, and trusted by all of these different companies. And we're very, very thankful for that. So you can be rest assured that you're aligning yourself with an incredible company that has a great background and a great team behind it. And also, you're going to get a 1-year money-back guarantee, 100% risk-free. So really, it's $15. And if you, for whatever reason, are not satisfied, if you don't find some margins, then you can get your money back 100% risk-free, no questions asked. So here is a testimonial from Nolan. Once again, we use lots of tools, and I must say Entourage Margins is probably one of, if not the most important tools we use. Very well done. All right, guys, these tools save you money, period. So here you go. Here's what you're going to get. Total value of $2,375 plus. It is just $15. What you have to do is you have to do it in the next 3 days. You have to go to this link, getppcentourage.com/discount, enter coupon code LOVEMARGINS. So now maybe some of you guys are saying, well, how is this different from other tools out there? Well, no other tool out there that we have seen offers the clarity that Entourage Margins gives to you on a SKU by SKU level, okay? And many of the tools don't allow you to combine multiple seller accounts to make a business so that you know at the very end of the day how much money you're actually making. So Entourage Margins is by far the tool that's going to give you all of that clarity. So I just wanted to point that out, that this has a substantial advantage. Plus, this is the only tool that has the FBA Fee tool within it, as well as all of the different margin eaters broken down in full clarity, so you can get full detail into what's actually impacting your bottom line and what's eating your margins. Once again, I want to absolutely thank you guys so much for joining me on this webinar. I am so incredibly blessed to have you guys on this webinar. I'm very, very, very thankful. The beta testers get it free for 1 year, just to let you know, David. And then you get don't worry about the discount. We got you guys covered. Okay, guys? So the replay will be available, and we will send that replay out tomorrow. Okay, everybody? We will send that. And make sure, please, to send this out to your communities, because the more hands this gets into, the better. Every seller deserves to know their margin impact for all these stupid margin fees. Okay, guys? All right. So I'm going to answer a couple questions that I have over here just for a few minutes. Okay. All right. David writes, how much is the margins recovery service? Good answer. So, guys, I highly recommend that once you sign up for margins, you also sign up for the margins recovery service. So basically, we're going to go in and look at all of the different like returns and all of the different opportunities to get money back for you. There's several different opportunities that are available, but it's very challenging for an Amazon seller to do on their own. It's very time consuming. Typically Amazon rejects the first attempt, and it takes 3 to 5 attempts, and we will do that on your behalf. And that's a separate fee other than Entourage Margins. But what it does is you don't pay anything for the Entourage Margins recovery service unless we get paid money back. Okay, so we work hard on your behalf to get you money back, and then we take a percentage, a 25% commission on all successful reimbursements. So it's a win-win across the board. We get reimbursed, and we make some money. This is money that you probably would not have recovered, so we go out there and do it on your behalf and save you some time. All right, David writes, what is the cost for the margins management service? If you're talking about the PPC Entourage management service, that is dependent on the amount of SKUs you have. We have a 1 SKU package, that's $197. Then we have a 2 to 5 SKU package, and that's $497. And then it goes up from there. We do a really thorough job of vetting people who come on board, and we don't charge for all SKUs. Let's say you have like 2 or 3 SKUs that are same variation or variations. We will send traffic to probably the best SKUs. This way you don't have to pay for a ton of different SKUs, and we make sure that it's affordable. And we also make sure that we do our best to make it a really good investment for your business. You're welcome, David. All right, so another question we have here. Storage fees. All right. Interesting. How do you control which warehouse Amazon sends your items to? It only lets me choose one warehouse, but then distributes to different ones behind the scenes. Are you saying you can select where your inventory goes and not have Amazon move them? Well, Victoria, basically when we set up a shipment, Amazon, what we do is we put in the address from China, and then we set up a shipment, and then Amazon determines which center that we're shipping it to, okay? So they make that decision. Unless we choose the inventory placement service, which then Amazon allows us to send it to just one warehouse and they distribute it on our behalf. I don't recommend that because it costs us so much money. So you can try and see and turn on the inventory placement service and see if that's something that where they like send it to a closer warehouse for you. Maybe it's worth it for you, but it wasn't worth it for us, and I don't recommend it whatsoever. In which case, you would just set up a shipment, and then you'd have to use the ones that they told you to use, unfortunately. All right, Carol writes, do you supply a list of best practice alerts that we can enable? Yeah, so Carol, basically when you go into the Entourage Margin software, we tell you the different margin, like the targets for each of the margin eaters. So for example, PPC Ad Spend, we recommend 6 to 12%. So you could then go in, look at your PPC Ad Spend margin impact, see where you're at. And if you're at like, let's say 7%, you can set an alert for, let's say 10%, and then get alerted if your expenses start to get too high. So we do that for all of the different margin eaters, including storage fees, including FBA fees, including promo fees, all of that stuff. So you can set alerts easily and quickly and easily. All right. Once again, it's an unlimited package per account. It's you get unlimited SKUs for that $15. All right, guys, I don't see any more questions coming in. So if you have any questions, please let me know now. Otherwise, we are going to end the webinar. Once again, go over to this link right over here. GetPPCEntourage.com/discount. Enter code LOVEMARGINS. Amanda writes, is signing up a 1-year commitment, or is it, Amanda, it's month to month. So you're paying $15 this month and $15 for the next 5 months after that. You can cancel any time. And after 6 months, it goes to 30. So, all right. What if you don't have FBA? That's okay. We take that into account too. It still is a very helpful tool. That would mean you have an FBM product, and then there's just different fees associated with that. So it really doesn't matter. Entourage Margins is good for FBA or FBM. And very soon we're going to have a very interesting way to sort of put in your cost of goods, depending on whether or not it's FBA or FBM, and also a timestamp feature. So let's say your cost of goods change. You can actually, like, say your cost of goods were a certain cost at one time, and if they change, you could put in a timestamp and let our system know that it's changed. This way it doesn't impact previous dates. Okay, so we want full clarity. We don't want to impact our previous dates with a new cost of goods. We want to make sure that we have the cost of goods that are accurate at this time, at this moment. All right. Victoria writes, I have 1 second. Let's see. Y'all writes, do you allow us to manually enter storage and fulfillment fees? No, we actually pull that from Amazon. But if that's something that you want us to add in terms of a feature, I could totally see why that would be helpful if you use other warehouses. That's a really good idea. All right, David writes, can you please share the link in the chat one more time? Hey guys, can you share the PPC Entourage, the getppcentourage.com/discount link one more time? Cool. All right, Victoria writes, I had a question on reconciling inventory available to make sure Amazon has the right amount after shipments coming in, sales, and returns. Okay, so Victoria, the margins recovery service will help you with reconciliation. So if there's overages because of product units that haven't been reconciled and Amazon owes you money, then the Entourage Margins recovery service can help you get some of that money back. This is not an inventory management tool yet. It may evolve into that, but we actually have been using it to give us very good insight into how many units to get and how many units to order. All right, thanks, Mike. Mike just put in the link, get.ppcentourage.com/discount. Enter discount code LOVEMARGINS. Eric writes, can you have 2 US Amazon accounts? Absolutely, you can have 2 accounts. There is going to be an additional fee per account. So there will be a $20 fee per additional account. All right. Awesome, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for joining this webinar tonight. Once again, please feel free to share it. Thank you, David. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate all of you, and I wish you nothing but the absolute best in your business. And I will talk to you all soon. Thanks, Ron. Bye, everybody. Have a great night.